evil parents on paternity court.
What kind of conversation is this?
I know how to push his buttons. I know how to make him mad. So that's what I was saying.
This is not button pushing, this bomb dropping.
Do you also admit, Ms. Grant, basically defrauding him, basically saying this is your child when you knew for certain that it was not his child? Did you do that?
Mr. Harrison is suing Ms. Grant for paternity fraud and requests the removal of his name from the acknowledgement of paternity document for their 4-year-old daughter, Aaliyah Harrison. He believes he signed the document under deceptive conditions. Ms. Grant admits to lying about an ongoing affair, but insists that Mr. Harrison is indeed Aaliyah's biological father. How evil is that?
I signed my acknowledgement for paternity for my daughter. I've had several people come to me through Facebook and through text messaging on my phone saying that, Aaliyah is not your daughter. Miss Grant is saying she is not your daughter. Apparently it's through several of her friends, that
they're
maybe
not any
she's
kind
had.
of friends of mine, Your Honor, if they're going around talking behind my back.
Mr. Harrison reveals that Miss Grant had a 15-year affair with someone else, and he has been with her for only 8 years. This affair predates their relationship. Despite being together for 8 years and having a previous child together, he alleges that she has been unfaithful throughout their entire relationship, including around the time of their first child's birth.
I was bringing home like a dryer or something like that and asked her to help me out bringing it in, and she wasn't helping me the way I needed to be helped getting it through the door, and I started getting maybe a little bit upset. Just trying to bring a big washer and I needed help guiding it through. She got upset and she said, I just don't want to do this anymore.
I didn't want to have to keep lying to him, Your Honor.
Miss Grant admitted to a 15-year relationship with a friend, sometimes sexual, while with Mr. Harrison. Despite telling the friend about her intentions with Mr. Harrison, she continued the relationship. When questioned by the judge on how she maintained it, Miss Grant confessed to constant lying.
Pull this off.
Lies.
Non-stop, the entire time. Absolutely not. I would never cheat on you.
Ms. Grant, Mr. Harrison is suing you
Yes, ma'am.
for paternity fraud.
Yes, ma'am.
Because he says he signed the acknowledgement of paternity under false pretenses because he feels like you misled him.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison challenges Miss Grant on her credibility, referencing her confession about their relationship's deceit. In her defense, Miss Grant states she gave Mr. Harrison a choice to stay or leave after her admission. Despite relationship issues, Mr. Harrison wants to remain present for their kids.
When I came clean, I gave you the option whether or not you wanted to go ahead and call it quits for good, forever.
Yes, you're right.
Or if you wanted to go ahead and, lay it out all
Because I'm
out
not
on
a
the line.
deadbeat and
Because
actually
he's
want to be
cheated on
around
me
my
too.
children if they're mine. I'm not going to
cheated on
sit
me
there.
too.
I told her time and time again, I said, I don't care how bad at times our relationship is. Let's wait until the kids get older.
Miss Grant accuses Mr. Harrison of cheating with ring rats due to his indie pro wrestling career. Their relationship is clearly troubled. Despite the turmoil, the main concern is the paternity of their young child. Mr. Harrison feels deceived, leading to accusations of paternity fraud. Miss Grant admits to lying about being with others.
I did lie. I admit to lying about being
So how am I to know?
with
How am I to
somebody else
know?
here and there.
How am I
So
to
do you also admit, Ms. Grant, basically defrauding him, basically saying this is your child when you knew for certain that it was not his child? Did you do that?
No, ma'am. I knew 100% that she was his child because she was conceived during a blizzard.
Miss Grant confirms Aaliyah's birth date as September 15th, 2010. Based on this, Judge Lake calculates the conception dates to be between December 19th and December 27th. Ms. Grant recalls a significant blizzard during this time and claims the other potential father took off because he doesn't like the cold. The parents await the DNA results to know the truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Harrison, you are her father.
I told you.
I'm happy.
Good.
Miss Brown is suing her mom, Miss Brown Overstreet, for $2,200. She's upset because she doesn't know who her real dad is. The court might order a test to find it out. Miss Brown Overstreet hopes the man in court is the dad. When asked, Miss Brown said suing her mom feels better than how she felt growing up.
We want the truth in this courtroom.
My mom she wasn't there as much as she should have been there. I asked her on several occasions, do you know who my father could be? My mama just said, I don't know, I don't know. Every time I asked, it was, I don't know, I don't know. She gave me, actually I have a list of men. It's about 6 or 7 guys.
Shantia Brown is in court because she doesn't know who her dad is. Clifton Smith might be her father, but they haven't tested him yet. Shantia was in foster care multiple times and was separated from her siblings. Later, her grandma took care of them. What evil parents she had.
My grandmother got us back. She got sick. I missed 3 months of school, got kicked out. I was in alternative school. I got kicked out because my grandma got sick and I had to take care of her.
And so what level of school did you finish, hon?
9th grade.
You went to the 9th grade.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you had to take care of your grandmother.
Yes, ma'am. And take care of my brothers.
When Shantia was around 6 or 7, her older brother, who was 3 years her elder, taught her basic life skills like riding a bike, tying shoes, and spelling. She acknowledges that her mother did some things for her, but feels that money cannot replace or erase past memories. Shantia felt tormented growing up without her father.
I had my oldest brother. He was about 3 years older than me. He taught me how to ride a bike. He taught me how to tie my shoe, how to spell. He taught me basically everything I know. And I admit she did a little of some of what she was supposed to, but I guess she felt that giving me money erased all the past memories that I had because of her.
When Shantia was 18, she was told that Mr. Smith might be her father. She was upset, questioning why he was trying to be a part of her life only now and why her mother hadn't mentioned him before. She was angry at both her mother and Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith then entered the courtroom.
We go back a long time. So when I called her, she was like that she was trying to find the father of our daughter. I said, wouldn't it be funny if I was the father? And she was like, oh yeah, I forgot all about you. I'm like, you forgot all about me. Then I was adding up the days. If I have a child out there, I want to know. So when I pulled up, I get out the car and my cousin pointed her out, so I was looking at her.
Mr. Smith expressed regret for not being present in Shantia's life. He was emotional, acknowledging that it troubled him to hear about the hardships she faced growing up without him. He believes no child should grow up without a parent. Reflecting on their past, Mr. Smith said he and Miss Brown had a fling during one summer.
And she had a boyfriend at the time. You know, we got together, it was more than once, and I went back home for the summer. I came back for the winter vacation, and I saw her, and I'm like, wow, you look a little fat there. She says to me, she said, man, I ain't fat, I'm pregnant. Next thing came out of my mouth, well, who's the father? She said, don't worry about it, it ain't you.
Mr. Smith presented a photo as evidence, which turned out to be of his genitalia. This revelation shocked the courtroom, leading to laughter. The reason for the photo was to show an injury. Mr. Smith voiced concerns that, due to this injury, he might be unable to have children. The DNA result can reveal if what he says is the truth.
Mr. Smith, you are not Shantia's father. Miss Brown, you okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
How about you, Mr. Smith? I know you had hopes.
So I still love her. It's cool. She's still my baby, man. You know I love you.
Mr. and Miss Elston previously appeared in court regarding the paternity of their 2-year-old Carson. Elston admitted to having relations with her friend's boyfriend, even revealing a threesome event on Valentine's Day. Mr. Elston was concerned because Carson didn't resemble him. The results showed he was not Carson's father. Now, they're back concerning the paternity of their newborn, Kaden.
Ladarian moved out shortly after Kaden was born. He's been having paternity issues since we found out Carson was not his. He started saying that this baby doesn't look like me, he's not mine, and questions about the conception, and he wants to leave his family all of a sudden.
Wow, it has really taken a turn for the worse.
Mr. Elston doubts he's the father of Kaden due to the child's resemblance to Carson, another child he learned wasn't biologically his. The similar names, both decided by Miss Elston and her friend, intensify his doubts, triggering painful memories from their prior court appearance regarding Carson's paternity.
I mean, I don't have a bond with him, and I don't feel like he's mine. They look alike to me, so they must have the same father. And the baby names are, identical, and it's something here that she's not telling me. So
We agreed on the name. I tried changing it plenty of times.
No, Your
He
Honor,
told me he didn't want to change it.
No, her friend chose the name, Your Honor.
The truth is, even the name triggers you.
Yes.
During Mr. Elston's work hours, Miss Elston had her ex pick her up, but fearing Mr. Elston's reaction due to past infidelity issues, she lied and said a friend got her. Their tensions escalated during her pregnancy, leading her to text him in anger, asserting that these children are not his. What an evil thing to do as a parent.
He already had, issues from the past of me cheating and all this stuff. So I didn't tell him, it was my ex because I didn't want him thinking I was sleeping with him or anything. I told him, I was like, well, that was not my cousin that took me. It was a friend, and he asked who, and I told him who it was, and I was honest about it. I just did not want no problems in our relationship at that point.
So you felt like you were just being honest?
Yeah.
Mr. Elston presented a text where Miss Elston stated, "Kaden is not yours anyway. I blanked your homeboy." Mr. Elston responded, calling her derogatory names. Miss Elston then threatened to put him on child support due to their marriage, adding that marriage was her only reason. Judge Lake expressed concern about the harmful nature of their exchanges, highlighting their toxicity.
What kind of conversation is this?
I know how to push his buttons. I know how to make him mad. So that's what I was saying.
This is not button pushing, this is bomb dropping.
Yeah.
These exchanges are designed to destroy. You already said you had one child that was his, came back not his. Now you doing this again?
Yes.
Mr. Elston stated that a female friend informed him that Miss Elston cheated. Miss Elston said that the friend wants to break them up. The friend, Miss Stanfield, was then brought into the courtroom to testify directly. Was he able to clear the confusion, or will the DNA result be the only way to find out the true answers?
Mr. Elston, you are the father. Kaden is your little boy.
But I still treat Carson like he's mine too, so I don't show him no different attention.
But you're doing an amazing job, and thank you for everything. I appreciate it.
Mr. Johnson denies being the biological father of Miss Kirby's 11-month-old son, Kaden. He asserts that Miss Kirby's claims are affecting his current relationship. Miss Kirby insists that Kaden was conceived during her relationship with Mr. Johnson and urges him to take responsibility, especially due to the child's health concerns. They argue about the impact on Mr. Johnson's current relationship.
She's trying to pin a child on me that ain't mine, and she's causing problems in my current relationship.
How am I causing issues in your current relationship when you just called to me yesterday?
I'm not trying to keep up with you. I just wanted to know, is this really happening?
So you think she's trying to pin a baby on you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you have doubt?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Johnson insists he wouldn't abandon a child due to his past, but firmly believes Kaden isn't his son, based on appearances. Miss Kirby disputes this, noting their physical similarities. Their relationship started at work, leading to an intimate moment in a car during a blackout.
During the blackout, we decided to go to the store. So we in my car, driving to the store. Charmaine started talking sexual.
Why would I talk sexual to you when I'm dealing with someone?
Wait, what was she saying? I think I want to know.
Mr. Johnson and Miss Kirby's relationship began at work, quickly leading to a sexual relationship. Despite its casual nature, Johnson claims Kirby admitted to being intimate with another man around the same time, raising doubts about Kaden's paternity. Are his doubts correct?
During the time, she already told me, Your Honor, that she was having sex with another guy.
A month before you and a month after you, sir.
During the time we were having sex.
You're saying she told you I'm also having a sexual relationship with somebody else?
Yes, Your Honor.
What did she say?
She was like, well, I'm single, but I'm having sex with this dude also.
At a party, Mr. Johnson saw a post by Miss Kirby on social media about not needing help with her child. Curious, he messaged her asking if she was pregnant and if the child was his. Initially, she denied he was the father, but upon his visit to her house, she changed her story, affirming he was the father. What an evil thing to do!
She says, no, you're not the father.
Because I didn't want to deal with him at the time.
So why'd you go to her house after that?
Because I wanted to be clear, am I the father of this baby?
Oh, you were taking it one step further because, as you stated in your earlier testimony, you're not going to play around if you think a child is your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Kirby claims Mr. Johnson hasn't done anything for Kaden, while he counters that she initially told him he wasn't the father. Kirby admits she told him so because she believed Johnson wouldn't take responsibility. When questioned by Judge Lake, Kirby reveals she informed another man about her pregnancy too.
I did the calculations. We had sex July 10th, and this the around the time that I could see Kaden.
So you looked at the conception window?
Yes, ma'am.
And you determined that was during the time when you were sexually active with Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you also were in a sexual relationship with the other man?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Johnson reveals he hasn't developed any relationship with Kaden. Miss Kirby admits she video chatted Mr. Johnson to inform him of Kaden's needs, testing him to see his reaction. Miss Kirby insists Mr. Johnson is Kaden's father, while Mr. Johnson denies any paternal connection to the child. Looks like the DNA results will tell us what we need to know.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Johnson, you are the father. Congratulations are in order again. That's your beautiful little boy.